Hey everyone, Aaron Gindel here again. Hey, I just wanted to give you another quick video on the very first thing that needs to happen in order to write a book. And this is just super critical, and so I wanted to spend a whole video talking about it. And there's more of this great information on writeabookuniversity.com. And if you want a free course, go to writeabookuniversity.com/free. But let me talk to you about that thing that needs to happen, and it may not be what you're thinking. So the very first thing that needs to happen before you're ever going to be successful writing a book is to believe that it's possible. And that maybe sounds simpler than it actually is. The statistics actually are crazy, because statistics show that around 80% of people believe that they have a book in them, and yet less than 3% of those around that actually end up writing a book. And so there's this big gap and I believe the gap, from what my experience and what I've seen, is that people, that we underestimate ourselves and our ability to actually write a book, and we believe it's this it's out of reach. And let me tell you a quick story. One of my friends, I went over his house. We were having some pizza and just chatting, and I told him, hey, I finished writing a book, and his wife was there, and they were congratulating me and saying kind words. And I said, hey, well, you guys should think about writing a book. And of course I'm a huge fan of books, and his wife is a doctor, and so she spent years and years and years of schooling to get her her PhD as a medical doctor. And it really shocked me and surprised me. The first thing that she said was that she didn't think that she could do it, and it surprised me, because I knew she was a doctor and she'd spent all this time, years and years and years of school, and yet she didn't believe that she could write one. And at that moment I realized she wouldn't write one because she believed it wasn't possible, right? And so that's the message I want to share with you. And I'm not saying that she won't later go on to write one, but I think it takes a shift in your mind to believe that it's possible, right? I mean, without that belief that it's something that you can do, your mind automatically switches off and thinks that doesn't even open the door for it to become a reality. And I love the quote by Tony Robbins. He says, if the only reason that you don't have the success that you want is because of the story that you tell yourself, or that the only reason that you don't have what you want is because of the story you tell yourself. And that's just something to keep in mind. So as you think about writing a book, this is the number one critical thing I recommend you consider. That, hey, do I really believe I can do this? And I would just encourage you that it's more than possible, right? One of the biggest myths about books is that you have to write this huge novel and it's got to be 300, 400, or 500 pages, right? And as we're bombarded with information. Actually, people want something that's quicker, that's more concise, that gets them the information they need quickly, right? Without spending hours and hours and hours of time getting through a book. And I'm not saying others don't want to just sit down and enjoy reading a book, but I believe we're in an age now, we have so much information that people want to digest that quickly, and they don't want it to be overcomplicated, right? They want it to be simple and straightforward. And I think that's the other myth as well, is that we think we have to become these these people with great writing ability and big words. And in fact, I recommend usually just writing a book at a 7th or 8th grade writing level, right? Because that's how we want to ingest information. We don't want it to be overcomplicated. We don't want to have big words that we may have to read or listen to or look up in a dictionary and try to decipher this manual as we read through it, right? We want it to be as simple and straightforward as possible. And so hopefully understanding that those things I mentioned, both the length of a book and the complexity of words, and if you feel like you can write at a 7th grade writing level, then you can write a book. And even beyond that, I have tips for you to write in a way that can save you the actual writing, because we can actually speak, and we can do that much quicker than we can write in a Word document or something like that. And so that's another quick trick to be able to speak our book with an outline, to be able to actually use the transcription of that recording and turn that also into a book. So there's some really easy, quick ways to write and to get through and finish your book. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. Really is demystifying some of these myths that the book has to be long, that it has to be complex, or that it has to take a long time to write. And encourage you to believe in yourself that you can write a book, because I believe in you, and I know you have a story within you. And if you're interested in some more lessons, you can go to writeabookuniversity.com/free, and you can get a free course there to continue learning about how to write a book and get started. All right, thanks so much. Talk to you in the next video.